Yeah. They got AJ Dybantsa. We got Anthony Dell'Orso.
Welcome on into the AZ Wildcats podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K. I'm, of course, your host, Damon Fairall, a.k.a. Damon Dog. That's my guy, Kevin Thomas, a.k.a. Kevo Post. We are the AZ Wildcats podcast, and we are, of course, sponsored by our friends over at Branded Bills. Head on over to brandedbills.com. Use promo code BBPHNX and get 15% off your first order over at brandedbills.com. Got to check out the campus collection for yourself. Got to check out these Space U hats, these Galaxy Slam hats, Kevin, because the Arizona Wildcats on Galaxy Slam night get the job done, get the W. 1-0 in space games. I believe that makes us the new Space U around these parts. And, of course, Arizona beats bitter, hated rival BYU and does so in a fashion that, you know, was very similar to last time. Big lead, felt very comfortable. BYU comes storming back with some maybe late game heroics mixed with some late game issues from Arizona's side. But it feels good to get another ranked W. Feels good to get that losing streak behind us and get, forward to winning these final few games on the schedule here, Kevin.
Damon, we are back in the win column. Had to play the air horn for that one. It feels good. It feels good to be back on a winning post-game show, Damon. It's been way too long without a win. You and I were talking about it on the pregame show and watching the game together live. I don't know when the last time I was this pumped up for an Arizona win was. It meant something. This meant something to me, man, to see my team go out and get a W after 2 straight times of falling just short against Texas Tech and Kansas. Arizona gets the job done tonight. 100 points from AJ Dybantsa would not have been enough. I'm joking. You can do the math there, but it was not enough. AJ Dybantsa putting on his cape was not enough. Him crying after every fake call was not enough. Arizona gets the job done tonight. It was absolute Karchenkov and also the bounce back game of one Anthony Dell'Orso, who we all were saying if he's going to get off the schneid, it's going to be right now. It's going to be tonight. Because it's now or never. We needed him like we needed air to breathe, like we need water to live. And Anthony Dell'Orso said, I'm here. I'm crocodile hunting, as Damon put out on his Twitter. What a night from Anthony Dell'Orso. I think him and Karchenkov combined for 40 tonight as well. You had Jaden Bradley put up a double-double with assists in this one, 12 and 10. You had Krivas go out with 7 boards. You got a full team contribution tonight. You even got minutes from Sidi Gueye tonight. What a win for the Arizona Wildcats. We all knew that this could be the result, even without Koa Peat. We all knew that Arizona could beat BYU, but it's sure very nice to see them actually get it done.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're going to get through and talk about each one of these players tonight because it really was a very well-rounded team performance. And, of course, we're going to get our guy Saul Bookman from McKale Center in Tucson on the show to talk about this one as well. But yeah, I mean, just a full team contribution led by Anthony Dell'Orso, who needed a big night, as we talked about in pregame, Kevin, and in lead up to this game in general. And then Ivan Karchenkov, another guy that we highlighted on the pregame show, saying, like, you're probably going to need Ivan to step up just in terms of his shot diet with Koa out. And both those guys end up being your leading scorer in this one. Jaden Bradley, it's been a rough couple of games. He gets a double-double. He ties his career high in assists out there with 10. And, you love to see him, back playing his level of basketball. Now, we'll have the conversation about the press break, and I do think that Jaden Bradley is a very, very large part of the issues on the press break because it seems like he's the target, a primary target on the passes. And so, we'll get into that. But right now, we're going to talk about the positives in tonight's win because, yeah, I mean, it's great to get that monkey off your back, if you will, Kevin. Like this team gets a ranked W against a BYU team that, still has AJ Dybantsa, still has Rob Wright, still has, millions and millions of dollars invested into their squad. And you go out there and you outplay them, full stop. Like that was not, even if Arizona was somewhat choking it away at the end and letting it get close, I think it was pretty clear who the better basketball team was out there tonight. And it's been clear in the 2 games against BYU this season.
Yeah, no, and these games have been really, really far too close down the stretch. And we'll get to that probably with Saul a little bit later. But yeah, ultimately you needed this win tonight, right? Tommy Lloyd said it coming in as we were watching, or Sports Center coming into this podcast here. He was saying, look, we got a big game on Saturday, Arizona versus Houston, pretty much for the conference. That's the type of stuff Arizona should be involved in, but you can't do that unless you handle business tonight. And like we've been talking about, you needed a full team effort to do it, and you definitely got that. I mean, that dunk from Sidi Gueye, I feel like, is the encapsulation of the contribution you got from guys that needed to step up tonight, in my opinion. Like Ivan Karchenkov tonight, right? And maybe we shouldn't start with Ivan. Maybe we should start with ADO, right? But I'm going to start with Ivan.
But I don't care.
Mostly because, look, the man is like that emotional, like, engine in a way for the arena. It feels like Ivan Karchenkov fires the arena up on both ends of the court, and it means something to him, and you can tell it means something to him because he stepped up tonight in a real way. Incredible efficiency, incredible rebounding from Karchenkov. It was absolute Karchenkov, Damon. It really was.
It was. He was great tonight. He mixes in 2 3-pointers on 5 attempts, Kevin, which, I think there have been at times, like, he always gets good looks. I love his shot selection when it comes to his 3-point attempts. But there are times where you're just like, oh, that was a bit too strong. Like that hit the backboard. like I just, and it hasn't been as consistent. Tonight's 3-pointers felt good. And it felt like, not only did Delly know that he probably needed to put up a pretty big performance tonight, but Ivan did as well. And he was ready to shoot. And his trigger was a little bit quicker than usual. And yeah, 7 of 12 from the field, 7 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal. Great defense as always. Kevin, 0 fouls. 0 fouls from Mr. Ivan Karchenkov tonight. And I looked at Kevin at one point when he was firing up the crowd, and I said, we need him back on this show immediately.
No, for sure. We definitely do.
Immediately.
We definitely do.
Stat.
Yes. And I think like what makes Ivan Karchenkov fit so well into the offense of this team, Damon, is his ability to continue the offense. Like, he's not a black hole. Pardon the space pun. We're probably going to do a bunch of that tonight. But he's not a black hole on offense.
He was doing a lot of heavy lifting there. The pun man is over there. Let's just be clear.
He is a mover of the basketball. He's a willing passer, but also he's decisive on the basketball, right? We talked about, and this is a good segue to talk about Anthony Dell'Orso. We talked about Anthony Dell'Orso. What made him so successful tonight, Damon, was his decisiveness. Mm-hmm. As soon as he got the ball on offense, he knew right, wrong, indifferent what he was going to do with it. We talked about that play, I believe, before the end of the first half, potentially, not the buzzer beater, but a little bit before that, where it's a late shot clock situation, maybe 3.5 ticks on the clock. He catches the ball, probably 2 steps behind the top of the 3-point line. And we're thinking, ordinarily, Delly's going to let this thing fly. And so is the defense, but not Anthony Dell'Orso. He takes 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, he's into the paint, draws a foul. And me and Damon were like, man, this is the kind of game you want to see from Anthony Dell'Orso. When he gets his chances, he's being aggressive with it. He's being decisive with it. He's making good decisions with it. And it feels like when you need Anthony Dell'Orso to have these kind of games, he will. Right? It's kind of about getting him to have them in those in-between situations where you kind of would just like to have him contributing at this level. But obviously he's not going to contribute at 15 points and a half level every single game. But damn it, you needed it tonight, and he came through with it for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And yeah, it did feel like he had the counters almost, in his bag as well tonight. Like in that one particular circumstance, there's, 2 seconds on the shot clock. You think that he's going to try to create as much space for a 3-point shot as possible. He just puts his head down, goes straight at the basket. They don't see it coming whatsoever. And it just was an all-around massive performance from Anthony Dell'Orso as well as Ivan Karchenkov, as we talk about. Let's talk about Sidi Gueye, though. Because the crowd was fired up for a little bit of Sidi Gueye ball, as they should be, right? And I think that that's the exact type of player that, you don't get to see as much in college basketball these days, but I do think that Tommy Lloyd in a program like Arizona will see a few of these type of guys, the development guys that, are you expect to grow over a few years' time, because Tommy Lloyd is just that type of coach, right? Like, he's going to find the players that are almost like locked in for that long-term development and want to be a part of that. And I think that, a guy like Sidi Gueye is no different. And he goes out there. I predicted 6 to 8 minutes. He plays 10. I thought that 10 to 15, as I heard some people saying, was a bit crazy. And he looked every bit the part out there tonight, Kevin. It was not as if he didn't belong out there on the floor. And he's playing against BYU. I said I didn't want to see the Keita matchup. He immediately apparently listened to the podcast, because right when he got out there, he started fighting with Keita. He literally was in a jump ball situation with Keita the second he got out there on the floor, Kevin. And he was like, "Oh, really, Damon? You think I don't want the Keita smoke? I will literally fight him right now in front of everybody if I have to," because both of them just would not let go of the basketball. Love that energy from Sidi. Love that aggression. And then, he has the dunk attempt, or the dunk, I should say. Well, it was not just an attempt. It was successful. And just overall inspiring performance, Kevin. I know it's only 4 points, but, 2 of 3 from the field, 4 rebounds. The rebounding looked good as well. What did you like from Sidi Gueye tonight?
I like that we predicted his stat line correctly per 3DMK, who says 10 minutes, 4 points. I believe y'all had that in the pregame, and I believe we did, right? But we knew we wouldn't need a ton of minutes from Sidi Gueye tonight. You needed enough minutes to offset, rest for Awaka and Krivas, and maybe to have a little bit of cushion for some potential foul trouble, because we know BYU, AJ Dybantsa, is incredibly proficient at drawing and flopping and drawing fouls. But it was big for Sidi Gueye to come in and show the things that he's been showing in really small spurts. I'm talking like 90-second spurts out there. He's been showing some lob threat ability. He's been showing some rim protection potential. He's been showing some finishing touch here and there. But it's in like 2-minute stretches in a blowout against like Norfolk State, right? So like, what are you really going to evaluate from that? Tonight was really the measuring stick for Sidi Gueye. Tonight was really the night where, are you ready to play in the Big 12? What's next year going to hold for Sidi Gueye, right? I mean, I don't want to be that guy tonight, but it's the reality of the sport. That's great tape for him to have on record, right? If Sidi Gueye is not in Arizona uniform next year, he could be, he should be, but if he's not, that's great tape for him, and he knows that. So tonight was huge for Sidi Gueye. Big opponent, AJ Dybantsa on the other side. A lot of people watching. What are you going to do? Your team needs you. You gave him good minutes tonight. So I think, I'm very, very happy with what Sidi Gueye had to offer. Damon, your boy, though. Evan Nelson got some minutes, even got a steal and a rebound. What do you make of Tommy Lloyd's management of the rotation and just the depth production we got tonight in general?
I mean, I was surprised by it. I thought that Arizona was going to go much, much tighter than that. Not that 14 minutes combined from Sidi and Evan Nelson is crazy, but I was surprised to see Evan out there. And, it's not like Evan was tasked with doing a whole lot, but it didn't look like he was out of place when he was out there on the court either. And, again, as much as BYU without Richie Saunders is maybe a team that you should beat, it's still a respectable team. It's still an upper half Big 12 team. And the fact that your 9th and 10th men can get out there on the court and look the part, I think is incredibly impressive, and also just, goes to show the level of talent on this roster truly, because they do probably play for some lesser teams in this conference and in Division I, absolutely, no doubt about it. So it was great to see South Point Catholic's own Evan Nelson, everybody take a shot of Three Amigos, and of course, Sidi Gueye and Evan Nelson both see some time tonight. And it was, I really do think it was a little bit unexpected the way that they were deployed. I didn't expect double digits out of Sidi Gueye. Although I did preface it in the pregame show by saying, if there was foul trouble, then I could see that threshold being reached. And there was a point where Krivas was in a bit of foul trouble. He encountered 3 fouls somewhat early in that second half, but yeah, I mean, if Sidi Gueye is going to fire up the crowd like that, he might be the secret weapon that this team's been missing, Kevin.
I mean, hey, look, honestly, though, it is a huge encouragement point, though, for March. I know you kind of say that tongue-in-cheek, but Arizona does need that potential ninth guy. If, for example, someone gets sick like Dwayne Aristode did, right, you might need a little bit of extra minutes from a Sidi Gueye. Or if Matthias Krivas and Awaka get into deep foul trouble, you have Sidi Gueye to go to, right? And I think that that's an important thing to take away from this game, is that you did see Sidi Gueye play some sort of substantial minutes. He looked good. Obviously, he's raw, but very, very promising. This podcast has been telling people for a while now, Sidi Gueye, not ready. Sidi Gueye, high potential, right? And I think tonight he showed exactly that, although he might be a little bit more ready than even we gave him credit for, Damon.
Yeah, and as I said on Twitter, Kevin, hand him the keys to the franchise.
Yes.
This is our franchise player, Wildcats fans. I hope that you guys are ready for the Sidi Gueye show because I'm locked in. I'm seated. I got my popcorn ready, and I got my Three Amigos tequila next to me, and I'm ready to watch some Sidi Gueye ball next season.
I mean, I'm all about it. Feed that to me. But in terms of this season, though, Damon, Arizona is back on track. Right now, we're going to get to more of this game with Saul Bookman in a little bit, right? Because he's live at the McKale Center. So in the meantime, leave a like on this video because if you have not done that, you're not doing your part. We're doing our part. You do your part. Like the video, subscribe to PHNX Sports. But Tommy Lloyd referenced it on the post game, albeit maybe a little bit unintentionally. Some people in the chat, I think Lion in the chat was saying, ADO accidentally said that there's a couple guys sick on the team. It feels like Arizona is going through the dog days of the season, and it's huge to get this win, right? We talk about the stretch of games that Arizona's in right now, right, between Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, Houston coming up. You have Iowa State coming up as well. It does not get any easier. Someone on Twitter asked me earlier, Damon, what do I think the next couple weeks holds record-wise for Arizona? You know me, I'm an optimist. I said 3-1. Even I'm not, going to get on Twitter and be like, they're going to whoop Houston without Koa Peat on the road. They could beat Houston without Koa Peat on the road, but that's a tough ask, right? So I think 3-1 is realistic, but it's really important that you don't fall into that 2-2, 3 or 1-3 or whatnot in this stretch. So getting a win, handling business at home against BYU, getting back in the win column for the first time at Alkeme Arena, Damon, the cursed McKale Center at Alkeme Arena. You finally get a dub. How does this game, does it inform your opinion on the upcoming stretch at all? Boost your confidence? Same? How are we feeling over there?
I mean, Houston is going to be a tough task, especially without Koa Peat, especially if Dwayne Aristode is not going to be ready to go, because I think that's exactly the type of player that will almost thrive in a game like that against Houston. Like, that game's going to be tight. It's probably going to be played the way, let's face it, it'll be probably more likely be played the way that Houston wants to dictate the pace rather than Arizona, in my opinion, which means it's going to be kind of a back and forth, half court kind of game. And in those games, I think you need Dwayne Aristode and his ability to kind of, play one-on-one defense and, maybe throw him at a couple of Houston's better players, use his length against guys like Kingston Flemings and Milos Uzan, who are unbelievable shot makers, right? So I think that extra length and defensive ability is really important in those moments. So I hope Aristode's ready to go. I'm kind of expecting a loss against Houston. I'm sure we'll get into that, much later into the week. And of course, probably Saul will want to talk about it a bit as well. But I'm more concerned with the other 4 games after Houston because that might be when you get Koa Peat back. I mean, if you go by Koa Peat's vibes on the bench today, he'll be back right after that Houston game. The dude was loving life. What a teammate. Right? I mean, I think as much as I'm sure he wants to be out there, like no one was more fired up for their teammates today than Koa Peat. And yeah, I think that the 4 games after Houston end up being maybe a bit more important for like things like seeding and maybe trying to win this conference. Although you might need some help from a team to knock down Houston along the way. Yeah, no, I think that you do. It is an uphill battle, right? You and I have been talking about it all week. It's an uphill battle going into Houston and trying to defeat Houston without Koa Peat. As Jorge says in the chat, this team is built to beat Houston. Like, this has been like what Tommy Lloyd, he's not building them specifically only to beat Houston. He's building them to win a national championship. But in the Big 12, how do you got to do that? How are you going to get there? It goes through Houston right now. So we see it in the NBA. It's a copycat league. You need to kind of beat the best to be the best. And I think Arizona going into Houston, it's going to be a real challenge. If they're able to get it done, though, which if they could do. They're talented enough to get the job done. They're well-coached enough to get the job done. They have the horses. You're talking about a real wagon again. And I think for some people in this country, maybe in Connecticut, maybe on ESPN, right, they want you to think the Arizona Wildcats are done. It was a fun run. Now we can talk about Michigan and Duke again. And I'm here to say, if Arizona gets the job done on Saturday,
get ready to talk a whole lot more Arizona Wildcats on those airwaves because they're not done. They're simply not done, Damon.
I will say I agree with you for the most part in regards to that, and I do think that the masses and the people that be at ESPN are absolutely more pro Michigan, or at least they give that vibe off. But at the end of this game today, Scott Van Pelt, Jay Billis, they're talking on the Sports Center right after the game, and they're talking about Arizona as a program, and just like how McKale is one of the best environments, atmospheres in the entire country, how this program has such storied success, how Tommy Lloyd is basically the right man for the job essentially, and that it's baffling that this team hasn't been to a Final Four in 25 years. And so they were giving a lot of credit to Arizona in a way that maybe I feel like has been lost at times, or at least we have felt that from time to time. But yeah, you got a little bit of national love at the end of this one.
Yes, you did. And honestly, you're 24-2. I would hope so. I would freaking hope so. But before we get Saul in here, let's knock out some of our segments. You already know the drill. We're going to hit our by the numbers, give a king of the court, and a whole lot more after our first break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast. So leave a like, drink your water, stick around, and do not go anywhere. Damon, I got to talk to the good folks, the good Wildcats out there about our friends over at Window Depot. Now, if you know a BYU fan who put a hole in their wall because Arizona put belt to ass tonight, have them contact the Window Depot if they're out here in Arizona, because the Window Depot is proudly producing their windows in Tucson, and it's a lot more than windows. It's more than a window store. They also do doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks. They do it all. Really, Damon, if you have a home renovation project, there's nowhere else to go but the Window Depot. Did I say that you don't need a membership? You can just go up in there and get your shopping done, in stock and ready for pickup. All those items I named, contractors and homeowners alike love the Window Depot for their stock, their amount, and their quality of stock. Shop online, pick up in store. Visit thewindowdepot.com and get started on your next project today. Stop by one of their 7 Arizona locations. It's a Freedom State company, and see for yourself why they're more than just a window store.
There's not quite 7 Gila River Resort and Casino locations, Kevin, but there is 4 Gila River Resort and Casino locations, whether it's Wild Horse Pass, V Kiva, Lone Butte, or Santan Mountain, and they all have the same thing going on right now, from now until the end of April. Vegas vibes in the Valley. Is there anything better? I mean, you love going to Vegas for all of the good reasons, all of the pros, but you hate the cons, right? And it's whether it's the Vegas drive, the Vegas smells, the Vegas prices, you name it, man. And it can be a lot sometimes. That's why Gila River Resorts and Casinos is bringing Vegas to you right in your backyard. They're going from now until the end of April, as I said, with exclusive concerts, extended DJ sets, showgirls, chef-driven dining, pop-up bars, and surprise cameos. Plus, you don't want to miss out on that fabulous Corvette giveaway that you've been hearing me and Kevin talk about for the last couple months. They're giving away 4 Corvettes at each of their Gila River Resort and Casino locations from April 27th to April 30th. Visit playathila.com for more information on how to win those Corvettes. But guys, the Vegas vibes are off the charts at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You're going to want to check it out for yourself. No better place to staycation in the great state of Arizona than a Gila River Resort and Casino location. You bring you, we bring the Vegas. Only at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for the full calendar of events.
Welcome on back into the AZ Wildcats podcast. Kevin, Damon breaking down Arizona's 75-68 win. Saul Bookman joining in soon, live from the McKale Center with some post-game thoughts and notes as always. But Damon, we got some numbers to break down with our by the numbers here for Arizona versus BYU. The numbers at the top are paramount. 75-68. Arizona gets the dub. Field goal percents were pretty even, 45-43. Now, this is where Arizona truly separated themselves in this game. Not, beyond the bench points and all that, but it's really beneficial that Arizona made 9 threes tonight on 43%. 21 attempts, 9 makes. BYU, a little bit anemic out there, 26%, 5 for 19 from the field. Rebounds, 39-32. Arizona out-rebounding yet another opponent. What else is new? The sky is blue. Paint points. Arizona gets outscored in the paint. That might be the first time all season. I might be wrong. 30-26, and then Arizona dominates the bench points. dominates 26-6.
Yeah, not exactly a shock there when it comes to the bench points. I mean, I think Anthony Dell'Orso figures to be a really good scoring option off the bench, even on paper, even through his struggles that he's had. Like that's probably one of the better bench scorers in the entire conference on paper. But BYU without Richie Saunders, they get even more thin, and it bears noting that they were very shorthanded as well. While Arizona deserves credit for working past being shorthanded and extending that rotation out to Sidi Gueye and Evan Nelson and it working, I think BYU also deserves, a little bit of slack just in the regard that, they don't have their full team as is, and they're very thin as well. So that bench point, number there, I think that almost had to look like that for Arizona to get the W today because Anthony Dell'Orso needed to have himself a pretty solid game. The 3-point stat is, I think, a little bit more shocking because I would have expected Arizona to maybe, be a little bit more of a paint force with Awaka and Krivas being two of the players that are healthy and, being two of the staples of this team, like those guys dominating inside the entire season long. So a little interested to see that, it was much more of a perimeter game from Arizona's standpoint, much more than usual, Kevin.
Yeah, it was much more of a perimeter. But we knew that coming in. Like, you and I talked about it on the pregame show. BYU's perimeter defense, Swiss cheese, barbecue chicken, Ernie.
True.
That's even with Richie Saunders, who is a pretty capable perimeter defender. But without him, you don't have any high-level perimeter defenders. If you want to switch AJ Dybantsa onto a guard, I'm sure he can do his best with the length and the athleticism he has, but is that what you want for your best option there? Like, we talked about it on the pregame show. Arizona's guards and the perimeter players had to come through tonight because they had the opportunity to, and they did exactly that. We're going to get to our guy Saul Bookman here in a second, Damon. But before we do, did you have any other notes on our by the numbers there?
I mean, yeah, I think the bench points are interesting. The 3-point scoring is interesting, and those are two areas of emphasis going into this game tonight. So it's good to see Arizona getting the job done in terms of that. But I do believe we do have our guy Saul Bookman here ready to go from the McKale Center floor. And why don't we get Saul in here? Saul, good to hear from you. Good to talk to you. Good to see you again on the AZ Wildcats podcast. And Arizona gets a W, ending the horrible, so long drought of 2 games in which we could not get a win. It felt like it was a month. It really was just about a week. But you get the W against BYU, and that always feels good, right?
It's been 89 years since we last won. Like hey, the vibes are good. And this is a good get right game. And one of the things about this game that you needed to make sure you did was execute, and Arizona did that at a high level. And you had players step up. You knew players had to step up at some point. And right now, with 2 of your core 8 guys out, you kind of looked at Delhi, and man, did he show up big time tonight, and that was really impressive. You guys mentioned, the by the numbers. I think the biggest stat for me was flat out was just 16-7, and that was the assists. When you're watching AJ Dybantsa, as phenomenal as he is, he's kind of a one-man show at times, and without everybody else producing, Arizona was able to, they showed you when you have balance, you could beat anybody in the country. And they had tremendous balance tonight and showed why they're the better team twice now.
Let's talk about that assist number, Saul. Jaden Bradley had 10 assists tonight. As you said, BYU had 7 as a team. Defensively, what was Arizona doing to make it hard for BYU to move the ball around and find open shooters?
I mean, Arizona's just a good defensive team. They know their switches. They know exactly where they're supposed to be at on defense, and they make it really difficult. And, the shorter guards like Robert Wright have a really, really tough time. He just dropped 39 against Colorado like it was easy. He came in here, not so much. Yeah, and he had a tough time in Provo as well. Arizona is a really, really tough matchup for Robert Wright. And that even goes back to last season when he was at Baylor. And he's kind of like, I know Dybantsa is kind of like the LeBron of that team, and he kind of gets everybody going, but Robert Wright is almost equally as important in terms of facilitation. And I think that was the biggest reason why, BYU just really struggled. And BYU, when you're a finesse offensive team, and I feel like BYU for the large, part is, it is hard when you have to match up against the kind of physicality that Arizona brings to the table. And when your auxiliary pieces don't step up the way they need to, it just, that grind becomes even harder. I thought AJ Dybantsa, honestly, the first time in Provo, I thought he was okay. I thought, this is what the hype's all about. Tonight, I saw it, especially when he got more aggressive. When he got more aggressive, there wasn't very many guys on Arizona that could stop him. And I feel like he could have gotten whatever he wanted if he just maintained that aggressiveness. But that's a tall order for, a young kid like that to understand and really have the DNA to be able to do it. And really the stamina to do it, not the DNA, the stamina, because he played 39 minutes tonight. So, he can only do so much by himself.
Saul, I know that, we got to talk about the man, the Aussie, the myth, Anthony Dell'Orso. You have been talking about ADO on this post-game show a lot throughout the season. Damon and I have been peppering you with Delly questions. Here's one more. What did you see from Delly tonight, our shining Aussie star?
I mean, what I saw was a guy that had my back, because I said he was going to have some moments down the stretch of this season that were going to be huge. And sure enough, tonight was the first time that we got to see that in action. Hey, listen, I'm happy for the kid, because I know he was really confident in the post game, and he says all the right things. But man, he was going through it. He was going through it pretty big, and for him to show up and step up tonight like he did was huge, big time. Really contributed at a high level. The 3-point shot looks like it's back. It's in good form, and it's good timing, because oh boy, Saturday is going to be a different story a little bit, defensively especially. So they're going to need every bit of his 3-point shooting on Saturday for sure. But yeah, good, solid, all the way bounce back performance. You got to be happy for the kid. And I think him and really the other person that I want to bring up, Ivan Kurchenkov was good. Everybody else was good. Everybody was solid. But man, those Sidi Gueye 10 minutes feed families, man. Like that. Hey, we talk. Bo and Johnny talk about the juice, right? Sidi Gueye brought the juice tonight, and there's a distinct difference when he gets into the game. The crowd gets into it a little bit more. It's loud. It's raucous, and that alley-oop dunk, man. Whew, that's gonna, man. The power meter in here, I think like the lights surged a little bit. It was great.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about Sidi Gueye. You mentioned the man. He does get some minutes tonight. I think he plays 10 minutes, gets 4 points. Overall, what do you think about where he's at as a player? People have been making a lot on social media about Arizona maybe not needing to play a ton of Sidi Gueye down the stretch, even if you have a healthy team, but having that guy that's potentially ready at any moment to get called upon and play some minutes if you need him like tonight. Where is he at in that realm, you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if he can give you, 5 to 10 auxiliary minutes, and when the other guys get back, he gives you a couple minutes of spot rest here and there. I think that's important. But I think there's one other thing that he provides that nobody else on the team, none of the other bigs provide. Koa can run the floor, okay? Tobe can run the floor. Krivas not so much at that level. However, Sidi Gueye sprints the floor. And when he does that, and because he does that, he demands the attention of the defense, and oftentimes creates lanes for his guards, because now the bigs are sprinting with their back to the ball, and it opens up some avenues for some of the players like Anthony Dell'Orso, who took advantage of that once, and Jaden Bradley as well. So his ability to sprint the floor was, I didn't really notice that before, and he gets out and he sprints. It's like the gun went off and he's in 100-meter. It's pretty crazy. So that's a little bit of a tweak and a little wrinkle that I don't think a lot of teams really understand. And man, I would like to really see if Koa and him could get on the court at the same time. I think those two would provide some problems in the fast break opportunities. So it's pretty cool.
I wanted to highlight that effort, because it did feel like Sidi Gueye was just playing balls to the wall every single second that he was out there, whether it was boxing out, rebounding, collecting the basketball, running the floor. You could see the effort, and I felt like McKale was feeding off of that energy in particular. Like Ivan Karchenkov obviously brings that to the table as well. It's great to see that out of Sidi Gueye, such a young player with such a lack of experience at this point. But I take it from how you ended that statement right there, Saul. You want to see Sidi Gueye, be a factor more into this rotation in these final 5 games?
Man, you're putting me on the spot here. I would say this: situationally, if the moment presents itself, I don't have as much fear as I did the first time when he jumped into the Big 12 fray for like legitimate minutes when Koa Peat went down last time, right? So I feel a little bit more confident in his ability. So if you had to put him in a pinch, sure, absolutely, give him a few minutes here and there. And he's going to know that, like, I'm not going to play for 20 to 30 minutes. So I can go, I could play like my hair's on fire no matter what. So that's good. You want that kind of backup. You want that kind of that balance and really that depth in case you need it. Now, hopefully here after a couple of weeks, we won't need it. But since you have it right now, and if he gets in against Houston, I'm really interested to see how he's going to match up against those guys. He's such a unique individual with his length and his scrawniness. I wonder how a guy like Cenac is going to react to a kid like that. like the air balloon things.
The wacky arm flipping inflatable tube man.
Yeah. So that's Sidi Gueye.
That's Sidi Gueye for you. That's Sidi Gueye. I had one defensive thing I wanted to ask you, Saul. Just a small note that some people in the chat and on Twitter picked up on. BYU was throwing a lot of 2-3 zone out there at Arizona. It's kind of like the dead man's defense in a lot of ways, like throwing a zone at a team as good as Arizona is. But just any notes on the defensive wrinkles that BYU and Kevin Young were trying to throw into this game?
It was funny because usually when you go zone, shooters start licking their chops. Lord knows I loved seeing a zone when I was in high school and college. So I was just like, oh,
he was looking like he was solid BYU from the corner.
Man, I'm like, ooh, I just licking the fingers, like, just give me the ball, right? But the funny thing is when they did go zone, it was right after Arizona hit a couple threes, and I was like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? And Arizona didn't really like hunt the three in those moments, and it was so sporadic when they ran those 2-3 zones that I don't think Arizona really was able to identify where to go immediately in those opportunities. So, I don't think it was a big factor. Now, if they end up playing them again, like in the Big 12 tournament, I'm sure they're going to hunt that and they're going to see that. And they're like, okay, we're going to take advantage of this next time to do that. You want to go 2-3 zone? Okay, let's go weak side pick on the elbow, wide open three, cash money, do it again, see what happens.
All right, Saul, thank you for that. And I know that we have Houston coming up, and we are going to talk about Houston with you, Saul. But we got some questions from the chat as well, mostly regarding your headwear.
Yeah, I'll take it from here, Kevin. This is more along my style. Saul, I can't believe we had you on the podcast for about 15 minutes here, but without getting to this. What are you wearing on my podcast exactly? Is that a Phillies hat?
It's just a bell. It's just a bell.
Highway.
It's just a bell. It's just a bell. That's all it is. Listen, okay. All right. First of all, what you all need to know about Saul Bookman here is I have to dress for the fit. I don't dress just because I like a team. And when I was sequestered to Philadelphia for a whole damn month, I had to go to a couple's Phillies games because I was by myself and I was killing some time. And listen, Philadelphia is not the kind of city that you just want to be chilling in some other attire of some other team. So I adopted some headgear. Shoot me. I didn't want to die.
He showed up with his D-backs. Mike Jurecki showed up with his D-backs jersey in a sea of red. 2001 away D-backs jersey, and it's an iconic photograph, Saul.
Mike Jurecki?
There's an iconic photograph of one lone Diamondbacks fan.
Mike Dreckman.
I was like, Mike Jurecki? What? Okay, well, good for him. Okay, but Saul has kids, and I'd like to see them grow up. So that wasn't happening. Also, I golfed earlier today, and the hat matched the fit, man. So I'm not apologizing for wearing this hat. This is an Arizona Wildcats podcast. I'm not on the D-backs pod right now. So this is what it is.
Alec Thomas didn't stick that flag inside a Citizens Bank ballpark, Saul, just for you to be wearing Phillies hats on the AZ Wildcats podcast, man.
Listen, man, I'm not going to wear it to a Diamondbacks game. Like, I'm a Diamondback fan through and through.
Well, I don't know how to transition out of that, to be quite frank with you, but we do have a basketball question for you, Saul.
Okay, go ahead.
Connor in the chat wants to know, can you guys please ask Saul why our go-to inbounds play is to trap ourselves in the corner?
Yeah, no, listen, this is I don't understand. They had a couple good tweaks to counteract some of the presses that BYU threw at them. So you saw that they learned their lesson from last game. However, and I asked Jaden Bradley about this in the post game as well. I was like, is it a matter of reacting quick enough, anticipation, or is this just part of the process? Because it does feel like the ball is sticking a little too much too often, especially in those corners, and you're getting done in. And he said, no, we have a process, and we do have to be a little bit more instinctual about what's going on, but we also have to read what's going on because you don't want to get yourself in trouble. But yeah, listen, that's at the very top of the list of things that they need to continue to work on by the time they get to the NCAA tournament. Now, desperate teams play desperately, and BYU's been in that position twice now, down 15 with like 8 minutes to go, and they're going to do what they're going to do. But
any tournament, if you're in a tournament setting and you're up, the other team is desperate. The season's on the line. You know what I mean? It worries me.
Yeah, I get you. No, I get you. Listen, man, you got to practice somehow, somewhere, and they're going to continue to work on it.
That's fair.
That's all I can really say. It's the crappy part of this entire endeavor, because we've seen it against Florida, we've seen it against BYU now twice, we've seen it against other teams, and they got to handle it better. Keep the ball in the middle of the floor. Stop going to the sideline and the corners specifically. Now, I will say this: they did make a slight adjustment. Instead of finding themselves in the corner, they did find themselves a little bit further up the court, but still against the sideline. And my point is like, when you use that sideline as that third defender, you're putting yourself in a really, really tough position to get out of. So they got to continue to work that out. BYU had some counters too. So the first time when they caught the middle and beat the press and got over half court, the next time they sent the opposite man over to the middle to cut that off. So really the over the top play was there, but when you got Kebaketa in your face and your little old Jaden Bradley, like, it's kind of hard to see that from across the court. So you should have reversed the ball, but they had a counter for that. So like, they had good positioning. They were going to live and die with you throwing the ball over the top, but Arizona wasn't able to identify it in the moment, and that kind of leads to the whole Jaden Bradley process thing.
I know that, like, you're kind of going into it with your answer, and I don't mean to get too negative because it was a win and you're 24-2, but I'm just kind of so sick of the way that we try to press break at the end of all these close games. And it feels like it's like a lot of, and maybe this is a evaluation that you disagree with, Saul, but I feel like Tommy almost to a fault tries to let the guys work through it, where it's like, yeah, they got to figure it out eventually for tournament time. And it's like, no, man, like, I think seeding matters at this point in the season. I want a Big 12 regular season championship. Like, let's get a more concerted game plan going for these type of moments. Let's practice it more, because as it currently stands, it just feels like it's a lot of like, figure it out. And I trust my team to figure it out.
I did see more of a process tonight than I did last time. So I think there is a little bit of progress there, whether, we all want to agree or not, is one other thing. But I don't think there's as much of like, good luck, guys. Hope it works out. Like, from Tommy, I do think that they've been working on a few wrinkles here and there. But it just, you have to go through it more and more. Like, if everybody was a senior out here on the court, it'd be a different story. But you got freshmen that, haven't played at this level in terms of the amount of pressure and the physicality and the athletes that you're playing against now. Ivan Karchenkov, and you're talking about Brayden Burries. Those are two key guys that are out here on the court. Hell, Brayden Burries wasn't even in in the last 2 minutes of the game until a certain point where they were struggling with the press break, and then they brought him in. I was like, dude, where the hell is Brayden Burries? Why is he not on the court? Like, they need another guard out there. So again, I think, and I don't know, I wasn't in there for Tommy, and I wanted to ask, but we'll see. Brayden Burries did that kind of step over move and kind of tweaked his ankle or leg. Didn't see it on the replay. They didn't show a replay for whatever reason. I watched Brayden after that. He didn't seem like he was, crazy off, but he also didn't seem like he was as explosive as he usually is. I think he was playing probably like 80%. So maybe that was the reason why they were hoping that he could just coast on the bench that last stretch. But then they realized, man, they cut the lead 9, now 7, now 5. We got to get him in immediately because we need another ball handler out there. So
I'm glad you picked up on that, Saul. That's something me and Damon were talking about in the moment of why is he hopping? And then he kind of walked it off. And then it seemed like he was on the TV. Obviously, you're in person. You've seen a lot closer. So I'm glad you had this insight. Because Damon and I were kind of like, okay, it seems like he maybe stepped wrong, thought he tweaked something, but was like, nope, that was false alarm. We're good. Because we've all been there before, right? Like,
no, he like threw the ball back and then he fell to the ground. And I looked over this student section.
Was that on the like at the elbow almost over there, like in the corner? Because I was talking about there's a play where he went up for like a layup and landed and like hopped away.
And then he threw the ball. Yeah, then he threw the ball back. But he was on the ground for a second. Like he wanted to come out of the game immediately, and then he kind of worked himself out of that, and then he came out of the game after that. And I looked, I would say at least 10 people in the student section had this look on their face. Like I was just like, man, I don't know if that was an ankle or a knee, but that did not look good. It looked like it might've been an ankle, but it's kind of the same thing Koa did against Kansas. Kind of stepped on it wrong, kind of funky. And then he kind of limped. Koa went down for a long period of time, and then he came back and, obviously he's out now with a strain.
No. I thought that was the
So, obviously, Brayden Burries able to come back into this game. And like you said, he did not finish the game in that last little stretch. He was on the bench kind of just cooking up his own way there, Saul. Did you have any other notes in terms of Brayden Burries in the backcourt tonight specifically?
No, I thought they shot the 3 with confidence. Brayden Burries included, Karchenkov as well. They had a really solid night from behind the arc. And they kind of let everybody know, like, if we need to, we can. And I do think because of the way that BYU actually played Arizona very tough inside both games. But the first game, Brayden Burries and Jaden Bradley absolutely torched them everywhere on the court, including the perimeter. This game, it was a combination of a lot of different people, including Deli and Ivan Karchenkov. So they have proven that they can beat you from the perimeter if you try to force them to. Now, BYU's not nearly the elite defensive unit as some of the other teams that they're going to face. Texas Tech kind of used the same recipe, forced you to beat them from the outside, and Arizona couldn't accomplish the task. I guarantee you, against Houston, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to make life hell. But I think this team is I will say this. I'm not going to say that Arizona's going to win the game or lose the game, but I will say that I think Arizona will play with tremendous spirit and they will be competitive in that game. I absolutely believe that.
I want to dive a little bit more into that Houston matchup, but I want to hit our last break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast before we let Saul Bookman go. So please drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and drink your water. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with Saul Bookman.
If you have tried to rebound the ball against Tobe Awaka, you might have suffered a serious injury. You might even be in a wrongful death situation. I say that in jest, but if you're actually going through this type of situation, it's very important that you do your research. And when you do your research, you will find the husband and wife law team because they have been doing this for generations out here in the Valley. They have their 8 children out here, and they combined with their law team bring hundreds of years of trial experience to the table. Now, why should you choose the husband and wife law team? They are specialists the same way Deli's a 3-point specialist. These people are specialists with their law litigation because they make promises. Unlike some other people in their industry, to their clients, right? And some of those guarantees are you can cancel their fee agreement at any time for any reason, and you will receive as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney's fee to make that happen. But the most important thing, Damon, we all know when you need help, when you need support, what's most important is a little bit of honesty, right? And they'll tell you the strengths and the weaknesses of your case, so you're working with a fully informed decision, which is incredibly important going through serious injury litigation. If you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at that number in the bottom left of your screen. For our audio listeners, that's 602-783-8841, or visit them at their website in the show notes below. That's husbandandwifelawteam.com.
Some lawyers, they just give you the ick, Kevin. I feel like the husband and wife law team, you could just tell they're just such genuine good people over there. And one other thing that you can just tell is that Arizona is one of the best sports states in this great nation that we have. Of course, Phoenix is being one of the best sports cities here in the United States as well. And it is no different when NASCAR and NTT IndyCar series come to town during the same race weekend at Phoenix Raceway, and you get a front row seat to it all. So nothing delivers the intensity of the race weekend, whether it's the engines firing, the smell of the rubber, the crowd erupting as the field charges into turn one. It's the kind of energy you really have to feel in person to understand. You can get the best access in motorsports, walk the track, get into the garages, all sorts of ticketing options available. You can get on the lawn and camp out there. You can tailgate. There are so many different ticketing options, of course, out there at Phoenix Raceway. And this is the first time that they are combining both NTT IndyCar and NASCAR in the same weekend. So you really get the best of both worlds. It's their response to, because the championship used to be in Phoenix every single year. It's no longer a thing. That's going to be a rotating cast of cities. So they said, what are we going to do to elevate this experience? Oh yeah, we're going to throw NTT IndyCar right into the mix, Kevin, and it's going to be absolutely electric. Double the amount of racing and double the amount of fun in the process. NASCAR and NTT IndyCar Series weekend at Phoenix, March 5th through 8th. Secure your seats now at the link in our description below.
And it's not just Saul Bookman that is back. It's also, with his backwards cap, it's also our PHNX Suns podcast watch party taking place at Gila River Resorts and Casinos tomorrow, Thursday, February 19th versus San Antonio Spurs. Pre- and post-game show, food and drink specials, RSVP for free to be entered into the raffles as well. So pop out, have some fun with our Suns crew, Steven, Gil, Eric, Espo, and producer Freckled Mamba, absolutely killing it over there.
Karchenkov.
Saul, you made a little bit of a switch, it seems.
Did I? Oh, weird.
Our guy Southwest Diplomacy in the chat said, take the bell design and turn it into a USS Arizona memorial. And all of a sudden, we're back on the Arizona theme, Saul. So there you go. That's your out.
Also, RIP to the crew, he says. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely RIP to the crew of the USS Arizona. In terms of the basketball game that was played tonight, Saul, I will say.
By the way, the USS Arizona outlined on the mall. That's pretty cool.
No, yeah, it is really cool. It is really cool to take a look around the history on the U of A campus. Speaking of history on the U of A campus, there was a special guest in attendance tonight, Saul. Did you see one tall Boban Marjanovic in the arena with the band?
Yeah. Band, and then later the student section. Quite I was, the guy next to me it was like, is that Boban? I was looking, I was just like, I mean, I don't want to make fun of like a kid, but that definitely looks like Boban. And then, yeah, we got confirmed that it was Boban. So like, I mean, listen, Boban's a nice guy, but like that was one of the last things I would want to be called. So,
I'll say this much, Saul.
That kid in the band 7'4"?
Yes, 7'4". I was like, man, the best thing, and I have that as part of my notes of the game, right? But the funniest thing was the national anthem. Okay, it was like da 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 ding. He's playing the triangle during the low parts of the anthem, and like the first time you got a couple chuckles, the second time you got more chuckles. By the end, everybody was just laughing because they thought it was hilarious.
Dude, I mean, I will say, I know it's back-to-back losses after, going off of Kansas and Texas Tech, and you bounce back tonight, but we're on the sun. I was going to say, it feels like the brand has never been brighter as it literally lights up in here. Saul, talk about the brand, please.
The what? What am I talking about?
I'm not exactly sure what Kevin's referring to, but I did want to tell everybody that
they want to be in McKale. They want to see the Cats.
I predicted this light fixture thing happening. I said, Kevin, are you excited for the lights to pop on at some point during our post-game show randomly tonight in a way that we can't seem to understand why it keeps happening?
They're like motion detected, even though Damon and I are the only people in here.
And we're so far back from the doors.
Why don't you just go up there and disconnect the lights? We used to have that problem in the old studio, so I just went up there and I disconnected the light.
Well, it's also easy for Saul Bookman with all the answers, okay? Maybe we'll investigate that next time.
We don't have our handyman around the office anymore. We lost our team dad.
This is true. This is true. You have a team mom still.
This great table that I'm sitting at right now, Saul.
I know. That's right. I did make that. My bare hands. That's right. Can I go into my notes?
I was just about to cue you up. What do you got in the Saul notebook tonight?
Okay. So we already mentioned Boban in the triangle, which is hilarious. You already mentioned scary moment with Burries. Cool. I thought Delhi really set the tone in that first half. Was fantastic. We don't have to go on about that. I mentioned the zone. You guys kind of took my thunder on that one. I do want to emphasize that you look at a team hit 9 threes and you think that's not like a ton. They hit 10 against West Virginia, so it wasn't even the most they've had all season. But there's a difference between just a 3 and like a really effective 3. And I think that's where Arizona wins the games is they don't have to hit. Hell, they could go 4 for 21. But if those 4 are a crucial time and place for those threes, I think that's what really matters. And I think in that first half, you look down, they were 3 for 10, but they had hit like 3 in a row. And you look at it and you're like, well, 3 for 10 is not that great. But it was the timing and the manner in which they got them, and I thought that was the most effective part. We had like a who's who here, by the way, tonight. We had
That's
Nick
what I was
Johnson.
trying to say before the lights cut me off. I was going to say, like, the brand, it feels like it's never been brighter in at least my time following this Block A. It feels like everybody that's associated with it of some note wants to come back and celebrate this year's team and be a part of what's going on, right? That's what I was trying to say before. I know you were like, I don't know what this guy's talking about, this crazy light guy. What the hell is he on about?
I had a point. First of all, I don't know why you're using that voice as if like everybody else figured it out except for me.
That's what
okay. Damon was confused
very,
too.
Like accusatory. Did you just raise your voice with me?
There's cameras.
I'm first one podcast in. Did you just raise your voice with me?
I need you to go from here to like here, okay? All right? Like just chill. All right? We're all on the same team. Yeah, okay. First of all, I didn't know that's who you were talking about. Second of all, Nick Johnson, Caleb Tarzewski, Kenny Lofton, and the Valley's own Alice Cooper it was down here with his wife as well to enjoy some actual good basketball. So there you go. And then last 2 things. I loved both teams. I absolutely loved how both teams, when they had a chance to try and dunk on somebody, they tried. I want more of that in my life. I want more 1990s, early 2000s. I will put your soul through the rim basketball. I need that to come back. We used to call it baptizing dudes at the rim, right? Like, you know, you dunk so hard and you throw up your, you know, they get a face full. Like that's, I want that back. I want more of that. I want people to try and take somebody's career at the rim. And I saw that a couple times tonight. A couple attempts. They didn't always go through. Kebakeda at the end with that one-handed dunk putback was pretty cool. Like I need more of that in my life. And then the last thing, folks, just know I say this with complete adoration and love, but I do have to say something. Kevin, when he showed up for his first job interview, God bless his soul. I love him.
No.
Wait. Listen, I'm bringing this all back, right? My man showed up. First of all, he was late. And Damon, you know how I feel about people being late, right? Like I almost cut him off before he even started, but I gave him a chance. My man was like sweaty. He couldn't find the building. He couldn't find the office. He came in. He had he had his little brother's suit on, and he was trying, and he had some white socks like Michael Jackson style. My man was trying so hard in this job interview, but I do want to say that the passion and the authentic nature of who he is what sold us on who Kevin was, and the reason why he got the job, because we could see through all of the superficial stuff, the stuff that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Can he do the job? Is he a good hang? Is he a good dude? Yes, 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 and yes. He got the job. But I say all that because we have a person that was in the building that helps out the show, styling tonight. Cohen to the nines, suited up, got the clean kicks. He's got the matching socks. My guy came with the game tonight, and I just wanted to let you know, Kevin, if you do ever have an opportunity to get suited and booted again, you gotta come with it next time, because my man showed out.
I need that picture on our B account right now. On PHNX Wildcats. Cohen out here stunting. Fire emoji.
Yeah.
I need 700,000 likes.
I gotta see that immediately. And I will say this in my own defense, Saul. I was late mostly because I was coming from the job I was trying to quit that I hated. So I'm taking my lunch break to take the interview at the job that I really want. And I show up and I'm like, oh man, I'm barely even here. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what the vibes is. I'm broke because I just graduated. So I don't got no suit money. So I'm just like, I'm throwing on whatever fits. I don't got dress socks. I guess we're going Nikes.
Listen, that's the coolest part about this is that, like, we've had people like in Chicago, Braggs used to literally lay bricks and was like a fan on Twitter, and like he got the gig and now he's like doing big things for the CHGO Bears pod. Kevin was flipping signs on the street corners. He was
I wasn't flipping signs. All right, I wasn't flipping signs.
That's what you said.
Kevin was the straw
man.
He
was like, hey,
Kevin was outside the car dealership.
That was who he was, man. And he got the job, man. So, like, hey, shout out to you, Kev. You got the job for a reason.
If y'all ever been in the parking lot of a grocery store and some person that needs some attention comes up and goes, hey, sir, you ever heard about the blank insert charity here? No? Have a good day. Hey, you ever heard about the blank insert charity here? Yes? All right, here's my pitch. That was me. Yeah, that was me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It was a long summer in Phoenix, outside. Walking around downtown asking for donations. It was a long summer, so I was a little sweaty. I was a little late, okay?
You know those Poang chairs from IKEA, the ones that kind of lean back? My man sat down, and them high waters came up all the way to his kneecaps, and he had the white socks with the black shoes on. Oh my God, I was like, this kid.
We gotta get off. We gotta end the show. We gotta get Saul out of here. Too much is being revealed on the podcast. Too much is being talked about. Thank you. You can find him at Saul_Bookman. He does great work. He had a banger tweet tonight. He's gonna have more banger tweets for you. McKale Madness tomorrow night, Damon.
And I'm going to H-Town. I'll be there on Saturday. So I'll get to see the boys hopefully come up with a dub. That would be the biggest win of the season, obviously. But I'm prepped for a good performance regardless. And we'll see how it all shakes out. Houston's coming off a loss too to Iowa State. And that was, hey, you want to talk about how we melted down, in both games against BYU down the stretch. But we were able to hold on to both. Houston, same thing. Up by 10, melted down the stretch, lost the game to Iowa State. Nobody's perfect in this conference. This game, in my opinion, obviously, I think everybody agrees, this is for the regular season championship. Mm-hmm. Because everybody else is behind them. If Arizona beats Houston, that puts Houston at 3 losses, and they would have the tiebreaker. They would be in the driver's seat, even though they have Kansas and Iowa State at home. But we'll see what happens. Now, vice versa, obviously, if Houston wins, then it's probably lights out for the regular season championship for Arizona. But it is what it is. So we'll see how it goes.
McKale Madness tomorrow. Saul Bookman, Corey Williams, Kevin Thomas, all going to break it down 7 p.m. on this very same channel, PHNX Sports. Be there for it. And, of course, follow my guy at Saul_Bookman in the meantime.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Saul. And of course, just banger Kevin origin story. Maybe the chat's favorite moment of any post game of the entire year, Kevin.
Dude, Batman couldn't have got that story out of me, dude. Batman could not have got that story out of me.
The high-rise pants, I think, is what killed me with the socks.
Man, you know what? I don't even got a defense for myself. I don't got to defend myself.
I wish my story. I wish my story.
And Saul's in the green room pulling up his shorts to show. I'm gonna get him. Get your ass out of here, Saul. I hung up on Saul just so y'all know.
Crazy.
He was in the green room, got his ass clicked, hung up.
You don't fire me, I quit. That's what Kevin just pulled on Saul right now. And of course, I mean, I wish my origin story was half as funny. All that I got was like I just got home from school with some food, and Saul called me and goes, "What are you doing right now? My friend says you might be interested in working here."
That's how my interview got set up.
I was like, I don't know. I'm coming in. And he's like, "Cool. See you soon." And I just have worked here ever since. I've never left this building ever since.
Hey man, look. I was not a good salesman, FGT. That's you know what? I was not good. Because the thing about
you sold yourself in the interview, bro.
Well, no, true. But I'm saying like the thing about being a salesman is like you got to really, in my opinion, to be good at it, you got to care about what you're selling. And I didn't necessarily care about what I was trying to like sell. I thought it was kind of just, a triangular scheme in a way, if you get what I'm trying to put down. So I was just like, I'm not really into selling whatever I'm selling so the next dude can sell stuff off my back. But I get an interview, I'm like, I need to sell my personality so I can stop doing what I'm doing now. Because when Saul called me to set up my interview, I was on the way home from this job that I did not like that much. I learned a lot, but I did not really enjoy it. It was long hours in the heat. And I was just like, Saul called me. He's like, "Hey, this is just Kevin Thomas." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, who is this?" From a, area redacted number that I do not really understand why they're calling my phone. "Oh, yeah, this is Saul Bookman, PHNX. Do you have any interest in this position you applied for a while back?" "Yes. Yes. Do you hear me?"
All the interest.
"Do you hear me?" "Yes." "Is it coming through clear enough?" "YES, yes." But yeah, shout out to Saul, man. Shout out to PHNX. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Saul, his new profile picture on YouTube is frying me.
Crisscross Saul.
And honestly, Jade, the world may never know. The world may never know if I was at the bottom of a pyramid.
Hey, Jade,
who even built the pyramids, Jade?
Sean, stop asking questions before it gets to be too messy for all of us here.
Nah, for real. But no, honestly, great win tonight from the University of Arizona over BYU. We do have two more things to get to before we get on out of here. We have our king of the court, and we have our love to play of the game. Let's hit that king of the court first. It is Anthony Dell'Orso, Damon. We talked about him all pod. We needed him to come up, and boy, did he ever step up tonight. 22 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal. A buzzer-beating 3 before the half as well. It was absolute deli tonight. What did Carl earlier in the pregame show? It was an all-you-could-eat deli is what it was tonight. It was wonderful. He was exactly what we needed from him tonight.
Yeah, he deserved the king of the court tonight. I saw someone put in there a shout-out for Sidi Gueye. I mean, like 100%. I mean, if we could give out multiple, we considered giving the entire love the play of the game later, I'll just spoil it now to the entire team, the whole game for the whole 40 minutes, because Kevin and I at one point, that was kind of before the late game collapse, we were just like, this game is special. Mm-hmm. This has been such a team performance, but Anthony Dell'Orso, I think, gets to wear the crown of the king of the court, because that's a guy that we tasked with upping the production level that he's been giving you so far this season. And it felt like you needed him tonight with Koa Peat out specifically, and he gave you 22 points, his best performance of the year, in a massive game, a game that you needed to keep the pace with the pack here in the Big 12, for the regular season. So shout out Delly.
Ooh, shout out Delly. And I'm working on getting this in for the show, so everybody stay tuned, because we got a fresh pick of one Cohen Kinney live in his suit that I'm working on getting into the show. So let's get to our love the play of the game, Damon, and I'll let you carry this while we get that fly pick of Cohen in there. Our love to play the game with Arizona Lottery. You know where to find them. Fry's, grocery stores, Circle K's, kiosks are everywhere. Get you some multiplier scratchers as well, and multiply the fun in your life. Damon, what's your love to play of the game?
Arizona Lottery, gotta hit them up, of course. And my love to play of the game, sponsored by Arizona Lottery. I mean, so many to choose from. I'm going to go with the deli buzzer beater. I'm going to go with the easiest answer, I think, of the entire night. You hear the call there. Jay Billis immediately is like, watch Karchenkov on a slip. And who's that? Deli running around a screen, taking a fadeaway, corner three or a moving corner three, and just absolutely drills it. And it was his night. It encapsulated the whole night. He also threw down a couple dunks, which is pretty sweet for a Deli type of player. So I'll go with those. Kevin, what's your love to play of the game?
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, Damon. I was kind of serious when earlier I was talking to you off air, and I was like, I love to watch the team play in the game tonight presented by Arizona Lottery. Like, it felt like it was a highlight fest. Like, it felt like everybody that we love on this team, which we love everybody on this team, but it felt like all of our favorite guys, even the guys that are a little less heralded, like a Sidi Gueye, they were coming up with absolute highlight bangers like this fit from our guy, Cohen Kinney.
Man.
I mean, my word. My love to play of the game is this fit. I love that he took the play of being like, you know what, it's a business trip. We got to get a W tonight. This is not no regular business casual. Back-to-back losses. We need to get suited and booted.
My guy is just fresh as can be right there, Kevin.
I mean, look at the pose. Is this Aura? Is this Aura maxing?
This is Aura maxing. Cohen Kinney frame-mogged every single journalist in that building tonight, including Saul Bookman in his Phillies hat.
Man, hell yeah, Cohen. Hell yeah. That's awesome. We got to hit Cohen up. Talk to Cohen about that. But
fit maxing.
Yeah, I'll say Sean, you're a wild boy. But I'll say that my love to play of the game is every Ivan Karchenkov dunk. I can't narrow it down to one play. Even if I had to pick a player, right? I'll say Ivan Karchenkov's dunks absolutely fired me up. Damon saw it. I had to stop yelling about halfway through this game because I thought I was not going to have a show or a voice to do the show with how hyped I was getting about these plays and these dunks and these steals. And I feel like it happened a couple times tonight. Maybe it didn't happen more than twice, but the amount of steals to transition buckets that Arizona had, it was Arizona basketball up and down. So I'm all about it. That's my love to play the game, Damon.
I love it, Kevin. But one thing I got to say that I didn't love earlier was when you raised your voice at me. That was my reaction.
There's cameras.
Yeah. There's cameras that are recording right now, brother. And you raised your voice at me and Saul? Are you serious?
Hold on.
I'm the host of the AZ Wildcats podcast. I don't care about that. You think I care about that?
If I am to channel my Mick Cronin, I first need to get into character. All right, now I see where you're coming from. I put myself in his shoes, and you're right. I should not have raised my voice at you like that, Damon. I'm sorry. There are cameras, and I am foolish. That was probably the worst. What was it? Question has ever been asked? The award for worst question asked? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the worst question I've ever been asked in my entire career.
Yeah, man.
I guess thanks. I'll wear that with the. Oh yeah, you should. I mean, what?
Bro's performing it like a one-man play right now.
What an unhinged lunatic that guy is. I mean, just a completely unhinged lunatic.
I don't know, dude.
He ejected his own player, Kevin, and I actually didn't even see the foul. But from what I've heard, people are like, it wasn't like that. It was not
that bad.
Like it was not to the level of let me embarrass my player in front of a national audience type of bad.
Everybody here heard you was the craziest part. Trying to implicate all those other journalists. Yeah, all these people heard you act crazy. Don't you feel bad?
We're all watching you lose your mind right now, brother.
You need to calm down. You're getting really agitated right now.
I'll continue to say it. He's like one of the best villains that you could possibly have because he's just so hateable. And you feel like you're like Luke Skywalker when Mick Cronin is on the other side, right? It's like, no, that's Darth Vader. That's the Empire. Those are the bad guys. It's clear as day. Those are the bad guys because they have that evil freak in charge of their program.
Dude, it's crazy to me because like there were so many. I was shocked. There were so many people, and Eric Ruby was one of them. I mean, he's a Sun Devil. No shock there, but that this was his take. They're like, so many people on social media were like, "Wait, am I finally a Mick Cronin fan?"
What?
Wait, so he does his most egregious acts yet back to back, and you're like, actually, I think he's kind of funny. It's like, wait, no.
I mean, he
just
funny
embarrassed.
To laugh at.
Well, true, but I'm saying
He's embarrassing.
When you really look at what he did, he embarrassed somebody's son on national TV, somebody's son who he recruited to play for him in his system and play hard, right? Like, don't forget, Mick Cronin encourages his guys to play with that hard-nosed mentality. He's
from Cincinnati, bro.
Your guy had that hard-nosed mentality, and then you ejected him on national TV in front of everybody and his mama for doing the right thing. Well, maybe not the right thing is squaring up, but defending himself, sticking up for himself, something you coach him to do. But because you're too small of a loser, you felt small in the moment. You felt like you had to make it about big Mick Cronin. Man, get that out of here. It's insane. It's really insane. So I was shocked by the amount of people that were like, honestly, I'm starting to come around on this Mick Cronin guy. He's pretty funny. I'm like, well, he's a loser. What are we doing?
I mean, he's just a raging lunatic, like I said. Like, yeah, it's funny to laugh at the circus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I love laughing at the circus as much as anybody, especially when it's our bitter rivals. But anyone that's watching that and being like, now that's a basketball coach. I had people that were being like, you would have hated Bobby Knight back in the day. Well, welcome to 2026, brother. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's not. Yeah. This is not the same coaching culture that we had 50 years ago. And Mick Cronin threatening to fight people, threatening to fight journalists, his own players, people that confront his dad in the stands, like you name it. Mick Cronin just wants to be hold me back guy all the time. All the time. He wants to be like, I would take your head off if I got the opportunity to right now, but I'm not going to.
You're so lucky. My tall friend is holding me back, so I can't even see you right now. You're so lucky.
There's cameras. I know there's cameras because you're lucky there's cameras, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I don't even know what to say about mini Mick Cronin anymore, Damon.
I agree.
Apparently,
I know Kevin doesn't agree with that, but we've had this debate a million times on here. I do think, like, Bobby is in a different stratosphere than Mick for me. Because Bobby, at least, like, there are times where he calls out his team, but I think for the most part, he does have his team's back, and he is the type of guy that, like, kind of rides and dies with, like, an underdog team. Whereas I just think Mick is, like, the second things go wrong, he's Mr. Point Fingers at every single other person that he possibly can. It's his fault, and the ref's fault, and the journalist's fault, and my player's fault, and the opposing player who's a loser's fault, and, like, he just can't stop himself. He's never once taken accountability. Except for the time where he said it's my fault because I recruited these players who are horrible and suck and can't play to UCLA standard and told everybody that. That was the one time he took accountability.
Yeah, I'm working on getting this in for the stream. Maybe I don't really need to get it in for the stream, but I'm gonna try to. Brayden Burries just posted like a weird thing to post to his Instagram story. Someone asked about it in the chat, but he posted himself getting an IV with the like thermometer emoji and the prayer hand emoji.
Brayden Burries did?
Yeah, that's why I'm about to pull it up for the show. But it's just a really it's strange. Like if I was,
it seems like it goes to what Delly was saying and alluding to a little bit in that the team was maybe a little bit more than just banged up on the Koa Peat side of things and on the injury or the illness side of things from Dwayne Aristode, that maybe a few others on the team are battling sickness as well. So yeah, I mean, here's a photo of Brayden Burries' Instagram that Kevin was talking about, getting an IV, and it seems like maybe he was one of the ones that potentially had an illness that he was dealing with tonight.
Yeah. I don't want to speculate too much on like what this is. It's probably just fluids and stuff. But yeah, definitely
it's
like
good for you when you're sick. I mean,
it is.
You want electrolytes and fluids and IV fluid in particular to get you over a sickness for sure.
100%. Like people in the chat are saying, probably dehydrated. Man just played a whole basketball game, especially if he is sick, then that would lead to extra dehydration. You would not be able to keep fluids up and down, stuff like that. So yeah, honestly, I feel like that's just a curious thing to like post after a win though. Kind of maybe it's a me thing, but maybe it's like I was going to say generational thing, but me and Brayden Burries are not that far off in age.
3DMK mind games ahead of Houston. He's letting them know, oh, guys, take it easy. Brayden Burries is sick. It's fine. It's no big deal. And then guess what? Brayden Burries 30 on your head.
Checkers, not chess, as Tommy Lloyd likes to say.
Yes. Is that he likes to flip it?
Nah, he flipped it when I asked him a question last time I was in Tucson for tech. I asked him about coaching against Grant McCasland, And he said, like, Grant likes to play chess. I'm more of a checkers guy where I can just do everything with every piece, and I don't got to worry about, like, oh, this piece can only do that, and this piece can only do that. All my pieces do everything. I kind of got what he was saying, but it did kind of make me do this. What? Did he just say Grant McCaslin is more clever than me? No, he actually didn't say that at all, but it sounded kind of like it. But yeah, Burries 700-pound deadlift tomorrow from Rio Pigeon. That's awesome. But yeah, that's all I got, Damon. We can get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great episode tonight. Great support. Bees, if you're still here, you absolutely have to go back to the ending of the Saul Bookman interview. You would love the Kevin Thomas origin story. And speaking of the Kevin Thomas origin
new Bees
story,
profile pic. I didn't even recognize you, Bees.
Yeah, a little Colin Gillespie action. Speaking of the Kevin Thomas origin story, we got a super chat, Kevin, that we must highlight from your mother.
Yes.
$20 saying Kevin is a king. We all agree on this podcast. Every single person here in this chat agrees. That's why we watch this show. It's the Kevin Thomas show.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. It's really not. It's actually the Arizona Wildcats show.
You guys should see the motion that this guy has on social media. It's out of control, actually.
Hey, man, I do it all for the pod.
Oh, no question about it.
But I will say
your
this
priorities are straight. I'm just watching this is the rise to stardom, and I got a front row seat to all the action. I'm telling everybody else to kick your feet up and enjoy the show.
Dude, I feel like I'm Brayden Burries right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got to go for 30 every night, but if I'm just going to shoot my shots.
If that's my role, then I guess that's my role.
You know what I mean? If that's my role, that's my role.
If I got to get numbers every night, I got to get numbers every night. I guess that's just what I do. I guess I post JT Toppin, this is horrible for college basketball fans, tweets, and I get 700 likes on them for no reason whatsoever.
I don't even understand that. And it was 1,500 likes, by the way.
Who's counting, though? Who's counting?
You know what I mean?
AZ Cats G, buzzer beater. Great show, guys. BTFD. Which buzzer beater was better tonight, AZ Cats G's or Anthony Dell'Orso's?
Ooh, tough choice, but AZ Cats G is paying us dinero, so I will say AZ Cats G.
We can be bought. And
for the price of $2.
Yes, no doubt about it. The low price of $2, Kevin and I can be bought. And before we get out of here, one last thing. 1-0 in the mustache era.
Oh, true.
I have to put it out there. Shave the beard. I said something's got to get changed. Something's got to go. Whatever is happening on this losing streak, what can I do to switch up the vibes? And it feels like a decision that I'm pretty fired up about right now, Kevin.
I mean, yeah, 1-0 in the mustache era, 1-0.
Who's to say it wasn't all me?
It was at least 50% you, 50% Galaxy Slam jersey. 1-0 in both eras.
I was going to say maybe 25% Galaxy Slam jersey, 25% Cohen Kenny's fit.
Oh, wow, yeah. We got to take that into account.
Yeah, absolutely.
50% Damon, 25% Cohen, 25% Galaxy Slam.
1-0 in the Philly cap there.
Ernesto.
It's diabolical. Ernesto, a massive D-backs fan, too.
You don't got it.
Disgusting.
You're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. Owen says Damon deserves all the credit, and
Thank you. Thank me for my service, if you guys wouldn't mind. I'm so humble that I need those thank yous to get me up in the morning. But appreciate everybody for watching this show. An absolute banger episode. We appreciate Saul Bookman for hopping on, as he always does, for home games and away games when he travels. And he'll be in Houston on Saturday for the biggest game of the season thus far. Of course, you can catch Saul Bookman on McKale Madness tomorrow at 7 p.m. You can catch Kevin Thomas on that exact same show, 7 p.m. tomorrow. There's an AZ Wildcats sized hole in your life on Thursday this week, and it can be filled by a McKale Madness podcast that is just going to be probably off the rails, as they oftentimes are these days, Kevin. But we can't wait for it. Of course, Saul Bookman, Corey Williams, Kevin Thomas tomorrow on this same channel. Be there for that. Subscribe to this channel. Like this video. Follow Kevin at KevoPost. That's KEVOPOSTS. Follow me at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. And then follow us at PHNX_Wildcats on all social media except for TikTok, where we're at AZ Wildcats Pod. As I said, another banger episode of the AZ Wildcats podcast. We appreciate everybody for being here. We're not live tomorrow. We're back on Friday previewing Arizona versus Houston. So be there for that one at 2 p.m. But in the meantime, peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats. We're back in the win column. Thank you to the crocodile hunter himself.
Shout out Sheila Chavez for the fire hats.
Ooh, sorry I threw mine. I got mad at Saul.
We all silly like the mayor.